Weather Scope.
Well, some of you in the Northeast will find showers and gusty winds starting your morning. We'll tell you who's going to get the rain and who's going to need the rain gear as well. Good morning and welcome to Weather Scope. I'm Will Annan.
And good morning. I'm Vivian Brown. The windy area extends into the Midwest, where high winds have left damage and a lot of cleanup work. Chicago is living up to its nickname, the Windy City. The high winds blew into Illinois yesterday afternoon, whipping up trees and even downed power lines. It may be this evening before electricity returns to an estimated 20,000 people in and around Chicago. Central Illinois was also hit hard, with winds gusting up to 63 miles an hour. The worst of the windy conditions moved into the Northeast, but it will still be a little breezy today in Chicago, and readings are expected in the 60s for afternoon highs. We had record low barometric pressure yesterday in Milwaukee, some 29.31 inches of mercury. So we talk about a very, very strong area of low pressure just north of the border. High pressure back here across the Great Basin and the Intermountain West. And it has been that strong pressure gradient between the two that has resulted in very blustery conditions across the upper Mississippi Valley, the Great Lakes area here. You can see the individual gusts. If you can't see it, we have gusts in excess of 25 and 30 miles an hour at times. Again, very blustery today across the Great Lakes, the upper Midwest, and a good part of the Northeast. We have just a huge area of low pressure, kind of a trough of low pressure, which is just an elongated area of low pressure. That's what a trough is. And we're talking about a lot of unsettled weather again today with the broad windy conditions across the area. So there you see winds out of the west and northwest in excess of 30 miles an hour will be found across a good part of the Great Lakes into the Northeast. Now, this includes Minneapolis today, Milwaukee, Chicago, Indianapolis, even over to Cleveland, Ohio. You can already see this morning low pressure again to the north, and notice how the clouds are basically pushing off toward the south and east, and these clouds too off toward the south and east. And with some of these clouds we do have rain. They're working across the extreme northeastern parts of Ohio here, even around Pittsburgh and Erie, Pennsylvania, Jamestown, New York, the Niagara frontier near Niagara Falls. We have the wet weather this morning, and this is generally all moving off toward the east, even around Syracuse on Interstate 81 this morning. Again, the main story will be light rain, but very gusty winds over the Great Lakes and a good part of the Northeast today. Will?
Once again, we'll talk about what's going to be happening across the Pacific Northwest, where the Northwest is in line to be hit by 3 strong fronts during the next several days. The effect over the next few days will be very rainy, windy conditions that will eventually bring cooler temps into much of the West. Cleanup efforts are underway right now, and crews are optimistic that good weather will help in removing an oil spill of up to 500 barrels off the central California coast. Crude oil from an offshore platform pipeline has fouled a 4 by 2 mile area of the Pacific near Lompoc, California, while winds are offshore. While winds are onshore, they are light and water is calm, and so skimmers can be effective in getting this problem and taking care of it as soon as possible. Let's show you what's happened during the last couple of days in the West. It's been very, very warm. It was another warm day in the West. Take a look at some of these numbers again. San Jose, California, 97 degrees. That was a brand new record. In Pendleton, Oregon on the West Coast, again, 88 degrees there. It was up to 91 degrees in Medford, 83 degrees in Boise. Not as warm throughout the Pacific Northwest, with a little bit of cloud and rain coming down there. And again, the heat was back into around Phoenix at 102 and 90 degrees in Las Vegas. Here comes one front. It's beginning to roll in right now to the Pacific Northwest. We'll watch that one begin to move into most of Oregon and Washington during the upcoming day, bringing with it some wind and definitely some rainfall. Then a couple of more days from now, we're going to watch an old typhoon which was Ginger. It used to be a super typhoon, but the remains of Ginger, no longer a tropical system by the time it hits the west coast, but that one is going to energize the jet stream and also help to deepen the trough. That one should be affecting the west coast as you look at the next several days as well. Here's a look at the west right now. It stacks up like this. High pressure controls much of the region, and the temperatures again 50 in Reno, 52 in Salt Lake City, and 54 in Denver at this hour. The southeast starting off very nice as well. No more rain again for Tampa or northward. Could be a few more showers around, well, let's say Miami during the next several hours, and probably lasting throughout much of the upcoming day. Much of the southeast today will see a fabulous day. Those scattered showers right around Miami, basically to the south of Naples and Boca Raton, all the way down towards Broward and Dade counties, and that's going to be the story for today. Let's show you what's happening with our good morning forecast, because we can put the maps in motion and you can see it's going to be another windy one, that is for sure. Looking at more windy weather likely throughout the northeastern part of the nation, and that trend will continue. Not as windy today for Minneapolis, St. Paul, Des Moines, or Omaha, even around Madison, Wisconsin. But it will be very windy throughout the northeastern part of the nation. Another front slides southeastward very quickly. Now the dry one begins to move right through Atlanta and Charlotte, and this front, by the way, is going to bring back some more rain and some more wind to the northeast right through early morning tomorrow. Here comes your stronger front now into the Pacific Northwest. Snow levels may lower to 4,000 to 5,000 feet in the Cascades tomorrow, and that could bring some more snow to that region. Otherwise, you can see the best chance of looking at rainfall today is going to be throughout the New England states. Scattered light precipitation, nothing like you saw yesterday. It will not be a big deal. Forecast highs, very fall-like temperatures are coming on board. 50s and 60s there. Still hot weather developing from Texas. That spreads eastward today. But look at the lows tomorrow morning. 30s and 40s across much of the north. Could be some frosty weather in parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota once the winds do subside later on today.
Okay. Find out where the commuter delays are this morning. Your latest travel forecast for the nation is just ahead.
That's coming up on TravelWise right after your local forecast.
From today's Florida grapefruit comes the sweet new taste of pure, heart-healthy Florida grapefruit juice. It's the first fruit juice certified heart-healthy by the American Heart Association, naturally fat-free and cholesterol-free. Including Florida grapefruit juice as part of a balanced diet may help reduce the risk of heart disease. Enjoy the sweet new taste of Florida grapefruit juice every day. Drink it for your heart.
Another Nokia discovery. Small words are hard to read, which is why at Nokia we make our screens big.
For you on this Tuesday morning, national radar shows most of the action right here over the northeast. We have light rain skirting across western New York and western Pennsylvania. Some small areas of moderately heavy rain right near the state's border here. So be careful if you have travel plans across this area. Winds will be fairly blustery again today, too, for the Great Lakes area and the Northeast. The rest of the nation looking pretty quiet from the southeast into the nation's midsection. Much of the plains today will enjoy very nice conditions from Dallas to Omaha, even around Rapid City, South Dakota. Denver, the Mile High City, looking good today. The Southwest, okay, in pretty good shape. We have seen a little bit of monsoon moisture developing over southern Arizona, not amounting to all that much, but it will be the Pacific Northwest that will see the brunt of the heavier rain as we go through the next couple of days. Certainly by the end of the week, a pretty potent storm system will be coming into the Pacific Northwest. We'll talk more about that on the extended outlook coming up in about 5 minutes, so stay tuned for that. Over the northeast, again, you can see the rain here in western New York, western Pennsylvania. Let's get a little closer inspection as we zoom in on the Niagara frontier from Jamestown right along the interstates here. 390. Be careful. Buffalo and Rochester. This is all heading toward Elmira and near Binghamton, New York. Again, all pushing off toward the east at about 20 to 25 miles an hour. Maybe some scattered showers today, Boston and New York, but we do think that most of the rain will be held north of the Philadelphia area as well as our nation's capital. Let's go back to the maps here, and you see the interstates that will be primarily affected. A little slick and slippery for you if you have travel plans on Interstate 80, even I-70 over the eastern parts of Ohio. Across the south, again, no problems. The only exception may be extreme southern Florida. But this morning we just have high clouds. No rain has been reported onshore. You can see along Interstate 55 through downtown Jackson, Mississippi, I-65, even I-75, Atlanta. Great conditions today. And we'll extend that sunshine all the way to St. Louis and Des Moines, Iowa. Kansas City, Kansas. Just light rain here, again spiraling around our deepening area of low pressure over eastern Canada, and that will be responsible for the windy conditions today. But dry as you travel along Interstate 90 back across the Black Hills of South Dakota, I-70 over Colorado. The Pacific Northwest, again, some light rain today with the persistent onshore flow, winds generally out of the west, enhancing the moisture here along the coast. We do anticipate the wet weather to continue at least for the next several days over the Pacific Northwest. Very windy, again, over the Great Lakes in the Northeast. No official reports of delays over the Northeast, the Southeast, or the Midwest.
How is your weekend weather looking? Don't miss the Weekend Outlook just ahead.
There's a big cover-up performed by millions of people every day. People who have ugly nail fungus. It turns nails colors, makes them thick or brittle. But now you may be able to go barefoot without embarrassment. With more beautiful nails, healthier, clearer nails. See, nail fungus lives deep under the nail at the base. That's why it's so hard to get rid of. But by calling this number now, you'll receive a free video and learn how it may be possible to get beautiful.
Because we show it on the 8s of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel. Weather Channel. Weatherscope.
Hey, good evening. Bill Keneally alongside Mike Bono here on the Weather Channel. And again, Mike, as much as the western Atlantic Basin has been very quiet, that warmer than normal water out there in the eastern Pacific is starting to manifest itself in some rather stormy weather on the northwestern seaboard.
Seems to be. The Gulf of Alaska becoming active a little bit early in the season this year.
Yeah, it looks as though we're going to see a whole series of storms, each one probably a little stronger than their predecessor. So Wednesday, watch out in Washington and Oregon, and really watch out on Friday, especially Friday morning.
Right, you're going to talk about that. Right. But we have wind in the east, too, and breezy in Beantown, you could call it. The Boston area getting buffeted by winds of at least 35 miles an hour. And you send the wind down the canyons of downtown, and those wind speeds can get funneled and channeled even more.
All for $9.95. And when you act now, you'll also receive this stunning Princess Diana airmail stamp, an $8 value, absolutely free. Call toll-free now. In the next half hour, Weatherscope gives you a comprehensive national forecast. At 10 after, TravelWise focuses on today's trouble spots. Next, your weekend outlook and the 5-day planner. Right now, your local forecast.
The Michelin Travel Wise is brought